Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Amber and this is Shall We Read? It is officially December. I have been stacking up all of my December reads, which means all the holiday books I can get my hands on or that looked remotely decent to me. So I am going to tell you which ones I'm going to try and get to and the ones that I may have already gotten to, because I did go ahead and read one. But anyway, I am going to read, this is in no absolute particular order, How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. The only reason this sold me in the store was because it has pictures in it. I'm like a child. The next one is In a Holidays with Christina Lauren. Of course, I want to read this because it's Christina Lauren. I love their writing. The next one is Holly Jolly Ever After. This one just screamed at me while sitting on the shelves at the store. That's the only reason I bought it. I saw it enough and I said, yep, I need to read that. The next one is Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna. Of course, I had to get this one because it's Kristen Hanna. Not 100% sure anything about it. I don't read the little thingies on the back. I really don't. If it's an author I like, or if the cover just says, read me, yeah, I just grab it. So another one. And then the last one was The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. This was my book of the month choice. There really wasn't very many options on there that I actually wanted to read. So I decided to just grab this one. That's quite literally the only reason why I have it. It's the only one that somewhat intrigued me from all of the December picks. I was kind of let down and I really didn't want to skip another box. I've skipped several boxes this year. So this is what I picked. So I guess we'll have to see. Then the other one is The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. I actually already read that one. It came in the mail. I was really excited about it. So I went ahead and read it. Well, I started to read it and then realized that, oh, this one actually takes place at that time of year. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, it did take place around the fall, so it wasn't too terribly off on the seasons. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, though, that one was a summer book. You wouldn't be able to tell by the cover or the title. It ends in the fall, but it's a summer book. So that one was a little off-putting. And so The Christmas Tree Farm, I started reading that to realize, oh, this actually takes place at Christmas. So I stopped reading it and then I couldn't wait anymore. So I started at the end of November and I finished it already. But yeah, so these are the 5 Christmas books I have left to read this year. As you can tell, I've got my Christmas sweatshirt on. I got this from Sam's. Love me good Sam's. Got all my Christmas decorations up, my trees up. I've got some good music getting ready to play with a little ambiance in the back. I'm going to light a candle and I'm really going to enjoy my reading time. All right, I'll check back in with you later. So I'm in my car getting ready to go pick up my daughter, but I finished In a Holidays. I actually really enjoyed it. Time traveling stuff, but done in a much different way than what I expected. A lot of books that I've read that have the time traveling stuff, I'm just kind of like, really? But I really did enjoy this. I also love Christina Lauren's writing. I love the banter that happens in all her books, or all their books. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I put this one on my list. So anyway, trying to figure out what to read for my next physical Christmas book on my TBR. Main character, Malin. I think that's how you say her name. Yeah, she had me rolling a couple times because she went from caring too much to I don't give a crap anymore and just doing her own thing. And I really enjoyed that. And then I thought the story was going to go one way and it ended up going a different way. So I really enjoyed that part. It was different, like I said, but, I'll let you know what my next book is and we'll go from there. Okay. I'm on my way to school pickup, so I want to go ahead and talk about the last book I read. So I had said I wasn't sure what I was going to read, and then I decided I was going to read How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, and I could not put it down long enough to even come close to talking about it. I absolutely loved that book. There were so many times that I was just laughing so loud reading that. It was a 5-star read, easily. I'm going to be reading it again. Absolutely freaking loved it. Megan Quinn did an amazing job of incorporating the Grinch into the story. And then the character is like the main male character is like the Grinch. And the female is just it was so good. I highly recommend that book to anybody. I may eventually get out of here. But yes, I highly recommend that book to anybody who's been thinking about it or it's been on the radar. It was amazing. There were so many times that I was laughing out loud at that book. Anybody that's read it would probably understand the whole thrusting thing. That had me going. Eggnog thing was just as good, but the whole thrusting on stage, that had me. Oh my goodness, it was so stinking good. So, I finished that this morning. I only had like 30 pages left. Like I said, yesterday I barely put it down. I read like 300 and something pages of it. But today I have started Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna, and I absolutely am loving it. It's not like her typical, Kristen Hanna. It's not historical fiction by any means, which is kind of nice, but it's still her writing style. I'm really enjoying that. It's only like 200 and something pages and I'm 90 pages in, so it won't take me very long to read it. It's kind of like a novella compared to a normal Kristen Hanna book. But I'm really enjoying it. It's something different. I got my joy and my laughter out with How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, and now I'm just kind of getting the warm fuzzy feelings from Kristen Hanna. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on what I think when I get finished with this one. Alright, come get unready with me. I'm getting ready to wash my face and go to bed. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna. So I'm really enjoying it. I made it to part 2. Woman was in a plane crash. So she was trying to escape the reality of her sister and her husband being together. And now that her divorce is final, they're getting married and having a baby. So, naturally, this poor woman is just loving life. But anyway, she's been in a plane crash. She finds herself in a cabin, and it's this little boy, and they hit it off. By the way, she's a teacher. So she works with kids. And they hit it off and they become really good friends. And she teaches him how to read and all this other stuff, and she sticks up for him, and she's just, this kid's enamored by her, and the dad doesn't quite understand anything that's going on. It's really touching to read. It's not a historical fiction, which is what Kristen Hanna is pretty much known for. But it's still good, and it's written in a way that you can clearly see the atmosphere, very much like you would with any of her other books. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I just made it to part 2. I'll keep you updated. Okay, I'm on chapter 4, and I read this sentence and I thought it was this paragraph, and I thought it was funny, so I'm going to tell you. If she hid for 30 minutes, then waved at 3 more people on her way to the elevator, maybe no one would notice if she spent the rest of the party hiding in an empty room, reading her purse book, and eating her napkin cheese. It was a genius plan, really. She should have thought out of it from the start. How many of us have felt that way, that we need to pull out our Kindle or our book and start reading because we don't want to be around people? Sometimes peopling is hard and I don't like it. Okay, so I realize it's been a couple days since I've updated anything. So I finished The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I gave it 3 stars. It was all right. Yeah, I guess she's just not the author for me. It was very predictable. It was like Clue, but heavy on the romance. Really cheesy. Absolutely just was not vibing with it by the end. The middle of it was pretty good. I was really enjoying it. And then all of a sudden that was it. Like I didn't care anymore. So that kind of put me a bit in a slump, and then I wasn't feeling good last week. And then this weekend has just been so busy. I'd already started Holly Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. And I barely got to read anything this weekend. We've just been so busy. My daughter had her first violin recital. We've had family Christmas parties. It's just been really busy. So today it's raining. It's gross. I'm still kind of feeling a little eh. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to read more of this. And I'm almost to the halfway point. So I'll update you in a little bit and see what I think so far. But yeah, it's been a week. Let's put it that way. But today's Monday. It's the start of a new week, so we're gonna get on this. Okay, so I finished reading my 5 holiday books, and I'm going to talk to you about them in reverse order. So from my least favorite to my favorite, and I'll explain why. I kind of gave you snippets of when I got done reading the books and all this other stuff. Some of them I didn't, because I just didn't feel like I had anything nice to say at the moment, so I just kept my mouth shut, you know. So my absolute least favorite was The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. It took a while to get into. I felt like I was kind of in a slump, and then I was putting myself in more of a slump by reading it, so I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. It took a while to get into. It's very much like Clue, but more romance. The writing was subpar, I guess. It wasn't the greatest. It's these 2 mystery thriller authors get invited to go to England for Christmas and they don't know who they're invited by. And they show up at the estate, and it turns out it's one of their absolute favorite authors. And she goes missing, like very quickly in the book. And they're trying to follow these clues, which we're not 100% sure if they were actually clues, to try and find her. And it's whodunit mystery. They end up solving one crime, actually several crimes. And yeah, I was glad when I finished it. Let's put it that way. I did not care. I just really did not. I could do without. That one was like a 3.75. Wasn't my favorite in my rating. My next one, and I hate to say this because I love her, but Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna. It's not her typical history fiction or historical fiction that she writes. So keep that in mind. But it's about this woman who she has a hard time. She just gone through a divorce around Christmas time because her husband and her sister were caught doing the you know what. And they are magically in love and they now live together. And her sister shows up and is like, hey, I'm engaged and I'm pregnant, even though she had been trying to get pregnant the whole time when they were together. And he never wanted to have a kid with her. And now all of a sudden her sister's pregnant and, what the hell? So it just, yeah, when you get to part two, the story takes a turn, and I can't say any more without giving away what that turn is. It's not my favorite, I will say. The twist was not expected by any means, but I would not say that it was great. Yeah, so least favorite book ever by Kristen Hanna. And I hate to say that because I love Kristen Hanna books. But I did not like those. The next book, Holly Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This one was good. Okay. I'm not going to lie. Imagine Hallmark Channel has a spicy after dark section on their channel. That's what they're filming in this book. So the female character, she played in all the movies and shows that she's played for this channel. She's always played the goody two-shoe Christian who, obeys and follows all the rules and does everything her parents ask and all this other stuff. The main male character is from a boy band from back in the day. He was the fat, lovable one, is what he referred to himself as. And he plays Santa Claus. And yeah, there's some steamy things that happen in the movie. But of course, because she's Christian and was raised a very specific way, she doesn't know how to be, in the bedroom. So she asks for his help on the side as assignments. And yeah, she learns real quick what she's been missing. She's also recently divorced from her husband. Her husband worked on the Christian channel with her. He was a bit of a jerk. Let's put it that way. And I'm glad she left him. But yeah, it was good. Just wasn't my favorite. I did not realize that this was the second part. There's a reason why some characters in this book made no sense to me. And it's because there's actually a book before it and a book after. I did not know that when I picked it up, so that's on me. But it was still all right. I don't know if I'd read the other ones, but that's just my own personal opinion. My next one was In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. I talked about this one a little bit. This one has time travel. She's in a horrific accident. She goes back a week, relives it, and then the world sets her back into the first day because it didn't go the way that it was supposed to go. And it keeps going like that. She gets to like day 2, and then she's reset back to day 1, and it keeps going over and over and over again. And she's convinced she's never going to get out of this time loop. And it's not until things start to fall into place for what she asked the universe for that she finally starts to be able to live past, day 2, day 3. But I like the way the story went. But at the end, I was convinced that it was going to go another route. She finally got to be with the guy of her dreams that she's had a crush on for her entire childhood, teenage years, everything. Their families are all friends together. They've grown up together. They've known each other. So she's always wanted to be with him. She finally gets to be with him. At the end, his brother kind of admits that he's always had a crush on her. And he finds out that she, before the accident, had made a mistake. And it had something to do with his brother. And so he wasn't sure if he could forgive her. So, the third act breakup, even though I wouldn't say it really was a breakup, but you could see where that was headed. But they were able to clear the air and everything was good after that. So, I mean, it was all right. I actually really enjoyed it. It was predictable to a point, but then like I said, at the very end, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, maybe it's not going to go in her favor. And then it went completely in her favor. So I'm not mad about that. How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. This is the best book. I love this book so much. This book had me rolling, laughing out loud. My youngest daughter is still home. She's not in school yet. And as I'm reading this book, I'm cackling. I'm laughing. I'm having the best time of my life. And my daughter's like, "Mommy, you okay?" And I was like, "I'm laughing." And she's like, "Okay." And then finally after a couple times, she goes, "Mommy, why is your book so funny?" I just started laughing. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. I will definitely be reading it again. There is no doubt about that. I do love that it has some like art in it to look at, and some of them are just silly. There are scenes in this book that will live forever rent free in my head and will never go away. I absolutely just, I know everybody and their mom was reading this book this year, and nobody has lied so far. I don't think I've seen maybe but one or two people talking about how bad this book is. But she gets a phone call that her great aunt, who lives in this town that is always Christmas, broke her hip, and somebody needs to go out there and take care of her. And she hasn't been back in 10 years. She goes back, and the neighbor boy who she had grown up with, thought they were really good friends. All of a sudden, he hates her, and she has no clue why. She cannot figure it out. And she's kind of upset about it because she's like, "Why does he hate me now?" And just, oh my goodness, just the banter. So so Story's aunt puts her, by the way, it's Story and Cole. Those are their names. Story's aunt puts her into the competition to take her place. And Cole, who's the neighbor, he doesn't want her to win out of spite. So he joins the competition. And he hasn't done anything in 10 years because his parents died, and he's just kind of always been in depression. It was always around that time. And 10 years ago was when the biggest crush of his life left. Well, I'm sure you can see where that's going. It was Story. So now she's back. He's trying to fight the feelings that are coming back. All this other stuff. They join the competition. They're having to compete against each other. But the more time they spend together, the more they realize that they were meant to be from the beginning. But oh my word, is this book not just the best? This is definitely a repeat. I may even read it during the summer. I mean, that's all good. And I don't like to read books that are outside of the season I'm currently in, because I like to be put into that headspace. But this book, if you haven't read this yet, go. But anyway, those are the 5 Christmas books that I've read for this year. Last year I read a couple. I take that back. I read more. I read The Christmas Tree Farm by Lila Sage. I actually read 6. The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. This one's cute. If you read Pumpkin Spice Cafe or the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, this one I think was the better of the 3. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't mind the other ones. They're very Hallmarky. They're cheesy. They're spicy. They've got all the stuff in them. But this one I kind of liked a little bit better because it was Grumpy Sunshine, but she was grumpy. And he warmed her up and turned her into, a much better person and all this other stuff. But not only that, but he encouraged her and helped her business thrive, because at first she wasn't going to do anything. And then all of a sudden he decides he's going to help her. And with him helping and all his friends and everything like that, she naturally becomes friends with everybody else, and it ends up turning into something else. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like I said, it was the best out of the 3 so far. I do have the other ones ordered for when they come out. I think there's maybe 2 more that come out next year. Like one of them's strawberry something, and I can't remember. But I do have the other ones ordered, so I'll let you know when I read those. But yep, this one actually not bad. Haha, Joke's on me. I read 6 books. The Christmas Tree Farm by Lila Sage. Or Lori Gilmore, for the love of God. Let me try that again. One was In a Holidays with Christina Lauren. Of course, I absolutely love wanted the